How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling. And Leonard, how was your St. Patrick's Day weekend?
Well, I was in a play, as you know, so
That's
it
right.
was pretty much full. We did go out after the play with all the drunks because by the time we got out Friday night, it was like after 10, it was like 10:30. So everyone was already pretty blottoed
Yeah,
by the time we got to the bars. And then we went out again Saturday. But had at the time of this recording, I've done the first two performances of the play that I am in, the play that goes wrong in Coshocton, Ohio, the Coshocton Footlight Players, the Triple Ox Theater. And we've got and we added another show because we were selling out.
that's awesome.
So April 1st, we're doing two shows, a 2:30 and a 7:30.
Oh, that'll be a double header there. So that'd be a lot
Yeah,
of work for you.
we're excited for it, but one of our guys said afterwards we're just gonna complain about how stupid we are about agreeing to do two
Well,
in one day.
you've obviously had a lot of fun doing it. I wish I could be there to see it, um,
Mhm.
but I wish you the best of luck in all your performances. And we should add, if you haven't caught our mini interview with Sam Houston, you should check that out. Should say our Leonard did the interview from the Glory Days Bash in Chillicothe, and
Mhm.
that video is available. We're going to talk to Sam for a longer period of time at some point. But we're very proud of the fact that we have our very first interview for everybody out there. So.
Yes, and when we've talked, Sam gave us a thumbs up, and we're gonna hopefully when things settle down for me, we're gonna try to do him in April. And again, we've talked about some of the other guys that I was able to talk with, and maybe have some other things coming up as well. And the contest at the time of this recording is still open. I to be honest, I've had no entries, but we do know who the guy is.
Yes.
Thanks to friend of the show Ronnie, who I don't know if he's eligible to win or not.
Well, yeah. So, like, does he expect the package?
I don't know if I don't think he wants it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. If he is our only
How
entry,
about this? If nobody else enters, guess what? He's getting it.
I'll
That's
give it to him if he's the only entry. But he did text us. He didn't email, but he texted us with the not only the name but all the background on who the dude is.
that's true. And if he doesn't want it, then we're not only going to give it to him anyway, but we're going to send autographed pictures of each other.
As well to him.
With
Yes,
the package, so he has that.
yes.
Something to look forward to. So this week we are returning to our Fever Dreams series, and I want to say it's about 2 to 3 months since we did the last one. It was
I
right
think
around.
we did one for New Year's, and I don't think we've done one since New Year's. So
Yeah,
this can be first. Well, I know you titled it something, but it can be
I
March
did.
Madness, but it's not March Madness.
Yeah, man, I should have thought of that. Being that it's just now having the spring season started, I titled this one Spring Stomp Switcheroo, because you'll find out the switcheroo part here in a second. But if this is your first time tuning in for any of our Fever Dreams episodes, they're very relaxed. They're a lot of fun. Basically, we take random names of female talent, male talent, stables, tag teams, managers, belts, gimmick matches. We put them in a random generator website, and based on matches that we've assembled, we debate whatever random names come up, and we basically just talk about it. We've been doing it for a while now. We have a FDW heavyweight Universal Galaxy champion, something to that effect. Anyway, Fever Dreams Wrestling. That is Bruno Sammartino. He is our champion. Our tag team champions currently are Team Hell No of Kane and Daniel Bryan. And right now, our women's title is vacated. I don't know if Leonard remembers that at all,
I
but
do not.
it is
I know
vacated.
we had a dispute at one point, didn't we, over a couple ladies?
Yes, that's why it's vacated. We'll get
Okay.
there. And we have a random belt champion, and that would be the AWA champion, I believe, is Dynamite Kid.
Yes.
And he is using his ability to turn that belt in for a title shot against our champion, Bruno Sammartino.
Yes,
So
if I remember right, was that a TNA thing where you could turn in your belt with the
maybe did they
exhibition
do
title?
that there?
I think that was the thing. Like you could turn in the exhibition title or the you could turn in a lesser belt to get like a TNA title shot. I want to say that was a thing.
You might be right, and I'm sure it wasn't a consistent thing, knowing them.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so the switcheroo part of the title, Spring Stomp Switcheroo, could be called Spring Squash Switcheroo, Leonard. I don't know, whatever you think's best. But more importantly, we're doing the main events first on our card. That is the switcheroo part. We are going to be doing all the big matches first for you, and then we will
Yeah,
bring.
I didn't get that. I thought you were just doing the old style list of like if you saw a poster, the poster would have the main event match at top, and then it would go down.
Oh yeah, no, we're
So
gonna.
what you sent me, I thought was just poster style.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can see where you'd be confused,
Mhm.
but we are doing our championship match right away, Leonard. We're
Okay.
getting right into it. It is Bruno Sammartino versus Dynamite Kid, and it is a spin the wheel, make the deal match. I know, Leonard, you have to be excited about this. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the spin the wheel, make the deal gimmick. I believe I have used it in my own fantasy booking before. I don't remember specifically how that how that came about when I did do that, who won that. But of course, for those of you who don't know, I believe that was only used, well, WWE revived it a while back, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, originally it was only used twice in WCW for Halloween Havoc. One was a coal miner's glove match between Sting and Vader, and the other was Vader and Cactus Jack. And
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was. I think it Pinfall's Count Anywhere,
It might have been
it,
Texas Death.
it might have been Texas Death, but it was a more uh, meaty, we'll say, gimmick
Right.
than the coal miner's glove.
Right. Yeah. That the coal miner's glove was a bad idea. So, as previously mentioned, we have a whole list of gimmick matches, a lot longer than what I put on this particular spin the wheel concept. But I decided since it was Bruno versus Dynamite Kid, these should be gimmicks that were available when these two were wrestling, and maybe
Yeah.
more
So the
based.
hype for so I would say if you consider Dynamite and Bruno when they cross paths, we're talking what early 80s.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I instead of doing our random name generator website, I did one of those actual sites that show you a wheel. I'll
Hmm.
put the display up for everybody so you can see at this point what won. But I will list the gimmicks that I put on there. I put 6 gimmicks on there: Iron Man, 2 out of 3 falls, submission, empty arena, steel cage, and strap match. And Leonard, it will be a submission match.
Okay. I'm surprised that you did not put coal miner's glove on there. I think that's just standard. I think that should always be on the wheel.
Yeah, yeah, it should just be there. I was afraid that was going to get selected, actually, but
Mhm.
so this will be a submission match. So that is the random part of this particular match. It is the gimmick attached. We already know who the participants are. So I don't know, Leonard. I don't think this is as easy as it sounds now with the gimmick. But you go ahead, tell me what you think.
Well, I mean, both of these guys, this is a great gimmick, I think, for both these guys. I mean, they're both really solid technical wrestlers. Both have done, some submissions. You may be surprised. I think Bruno has more submission in his basket than Dynamite does, or at least as knowing as finishers. Dynamite Kid usually used the flying headbutt or the falling headbutt as a finisher or other things. I'm not sure what his submission coup de grace was that he liked. But I know Bruno used the bear hug a lot. I know Bruno used a crab. I know that Bruno an abdominal stretch. I mean, if you name an old school finisher, I know you could probably find an example of Bruno using it. So the fact that Bruno is bigger, so he's got more. While Dynamite might have more stamina, and of course Bruno could wrestle for a very long time. I think the fact that Bruno is bigger and stronger, and I think, believe it or not, has at least a larger base of submission holds, at least that we have seen from him.
Right.
I'm going to go Bruno Sammartino. I think he is going to use his size and power advantage to club him down, work the lower back, and probably go for and if the bear hug don't work, he's going to go for the crab. But I think it's going to be a lower back submission focus for Bruno Sammartino.
So yeah, so you mentioned submissions holds that we know. So yes, and when it comes to U.S. matches, Dynamite Kid didn't use as many submission holds. But if you look at his work in Japan, he used some of those submission holds that back then were just not used, like some of those stretch bow and arrow type submission moves that were just crazy to look at that nobody's really submitted to, but they really look interesting in the ring. So like that's the type of stuff that he would use over there. But I agree with you. I think that the thing that makes this different is the size of Bruno. And let me just say, even though this is our first match, it's our main event, which is on first, but I think that this would be a great match. I really, really do.
Yeah.
If it were a straight up match, I think it would be good. But based on the fact that it's submission, I think that this would be really good. I think that the styles of both these guys would complement each other if you're getting a more prime Bruno. Now, if you're getting like older Bruno, this match might be a little bit tougher to get off, but
Bruno was still pretty good. If you look at the Zbyszko feud in 80, 80, 81, he could still go. If you're talking more like 85 or so. But if you're, and again, I think Mitchell on Dynamite, he was a lot smaller before 85, 86 when he got on the juice from everything everyone has ever said.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're talking even an early 80s, 81, 82 Bruno, let's say 80, 83 Bruno versus 80, 83 Dynamite, even an older Bruno, I think has an advantage against a greener, skinnier Dynamite.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know what? I think that this would be a really good MSG main event.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think with Bruno's size, I think it would be hard for Dynamite to have a submission hold be as effective as he would want it to be. So,
I think this would be a very long match. I mean, it's an opener, but I could see it going close to an hour. I mean, it's a match like this. We're talking old school rules. We probably have a 60-minute time limit.
Yeah.
And I could see this going more than a half hour at least, probably close to 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So that means Bruno retains.
Yes.
And our next match is also, we know who the participants are. It would be the champions of Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane, against the Mega Powers Foundation of Randall Poffo and Terrence Bollea with their new manager, Elizabeth Hewlett.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
I want her dressed like Alexandra York. I want her in the business suit with like her hair in a bun and the glasses. I want her dressed like Alexandra York.
Very anti-Elizabeth style clothing, I would say. It has to be.
Yes, that's why I want her dressed. And I want her to have the laptop.
Yes, absolutely. And so this match stems from the last Fever Dreams we had, which was a gauntlet match. Mega Powers Foundation were the champions. They lasted through 3 tag teams, but Team Hell No defeated them based on the fact that they were tired and out of it. So we have this rematch here, and there will be a gimmick attached, which Leonard has drawn.
I have drawn, and I like the fact that's kind of opposite of our first gimmick, which was technical. Barbed wire ropes, Daddy.
Okay. Oh, man. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? I don't know if any of the, well, maybe Kane somewhere along the line, but I don't think any of these guys have been in a match like that. Kane maybe has had some stuff with barbed wire. Definitely not ropes. I would have remembered that.
Yeah. But like a barbed wire wrapped 2x4 or something.
Right.
Probably, when he was dealing with Foley and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if WWE ever did barbed wire ropes, it would have been years ago. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think the Mega Powers Foundation, I think they get these title belts back. The fact that so if you look at it from a logical point of view, say Savage and Daniel Bryan are tied together and maybe they cancel each other out. This comes down to Hogan, and Kane. If Randy Savage and Daniel Bryan are, going against each other through most of this match, and let's say they cancel each other out, it comes down to Hogan and Kane. And Hogan made a name for himself being the giant killer when he was at his peak. So Hogan wins that match all day. Tack on the fact that they have a manager at ringside. Now, she might not get involved based on the fact this barbed wire ropes, but she's there. So conceivably, she could get involved. So I think the Mega Powers Foundation win these belts back, Leonard.
Well, I dispute that. Elizabeth never got involved ever.
That's true, but she's a heel now.
Yeah, but well, she was a heel in WCW. Well, I guess she did get involved when she was working for Flair and Luger.
Yeah.
She used to spray people in the eyes with like hairspray.
She did get involved a few times. Yeah.
She had mace. I think she used to mace people.
Yeah.
I think she used to do that. So yeah, she did get involved as a heel. I'll grant you that. I think you're right on who it would come down to. I like the idea of Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whoever he is, against Poffo. I think they go to the ropes. I think they're killing themselves. They're bleeding. Yeah. I think Macho does that neck drop thing he does on Bryan over the barbed wire.
That would be brutal.
He's gonna do it though. He's totally gonna do it. And then you just get Hogan and Kane slugging it out in the middle of the ring. Now I do believe that Kane is probably, I would call, the most hardcore, with air quotes, of the four guys who we have here. But as the heels, as you mentioned, they do have some sort of a manager on the outside. Considering the barbed wire, considering, Hogan's going to say, hey, a double job doesn't work for me, brother. I think as much as I would like to give a slight advantage to Kane for being more hardcore, I agree with you that the Mega Powers would win the belts back, giving Team Hell No a very, very brief title run.
All right. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe this will be a trilogy. Who knows? So we are going to move on to our female title match, FDW Women's title. And in our last Fever Dreams, it was a fatal four-way, and Leonard and I both picked different people. One of us picked Sherri Martel. That was me. And Leonard picked Awesome Kong. And at the same time, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, won a number one contenders match. So we made this a triple threat: Sherri Martel versus Dr. Britt Baker versus Awesome Kong. So this also has a gimmick attached.
Too many gimmicks on the night, I think. Or we got too stacked.
This is Spring Stomp, Leonard. Come on now.
Okay.
All right, so we have a gimmick. It is ready. It is going to be a graveyard match.
Oh. So it's Awesome Kong versus Britt Baker versus Sensational Sherri in a graveyard match.
That's right.
So is that the Undertaker AJ Styles cinematic graveyard match?
I'm all right with that.
Okay.
I don't think it's a strictly Buried Alive match.
Yeah, that's why I was the only other version I could think of would be a Buried Alive. And then Sting and Vampiro have a graveyard match.
That's probably where this gimmick came from.
They had a graveyard match. So it's a match in a graveyard. Okay, I got to ask you, what are the rules? Do you have to physically bury your opponents, or are you pinning them? How do you win?
Well, the AJ Styles Undertaker match basically ended with AJ being buried alive, right? Yes.
I don't remember the Vampiro Sting match.
No, I don't rember that one as much either.
No. So let's say you have to you have to bury both of your opponents. To win. Not the same grave. It can be two separate graves. I think that's fine.
So you're saying both people, this is not a standard triple threat. Both people have to be buried. It has to be one person left.
Yes. I want it. It has to be Ultimate Survivor. It's a graveyard.
I think we know who's winning this now, but go ahead, Leonard.
I'm going Awesome Kong.
Yeah, how can you go with anybody else? I'm sorry. I love Dr. Britt Baker, but I cannot see her burying two people.
And Sherri is conniving. I think Sherri could bury Britt.
Yes.
I think she tricks Britt or jumps out somewhere, smashes her head the tombstone. I think that happens.
Yeah.
Or the only other thing I could think of would be if Sherri and Britt make a pact and they both go after Kong. But even if that happens, I think Kong probably lays them both out together, throws them both in the same grave, and buries both of them together.
Yeah.
So I given that, see, we've said this before, stipulations can make a huge difference. And here I think this is a stipulation that heavily favors the big, the brutal, the badass Awesome Kong.
I agree. So that means she is our new FDW Women's Champion. So let's move on to our next match, which is, well, it's going to feature three people. It's another triple threat. El Dandy, who won one of our dark matches last time we did this.
Yes.
Bully Ray, who won another one of our dark matches last time. And we're going to have another random person drawn by Leonard. And this will be for a new belt, since the AWA title belt held by Dynamite Kid is no longer being used. Technically, it could come up again.
Yes, it could come up again. He has just relinquished it. So technically, it could recycle.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Leonard,
I've got the third
why don't you
person.
tell people who the other guy is?
Chris Adonis.
Okay.
So that's Chris Masters after he left WWF. So that would be Indie Circuit / TNA Chris Masters, known as Chris Adonis.
They will be fighting over the Smoky Mountain U.S. Junior Heavyweight Championship. So,
see, considering what the belt is, I want to give it to El Dandy. Because he's of the three dudes, he's the most junior dude.
That's true. But would he win in this triple threat?
I think he's the most high flyer. He's the fastest. He's the most agile. I think he would use his speed and his quickness and his agility against the other two.
This is Chris Adonis. This is not peak Chris Masters.
This is not. No. I don't. I was about to say this is Chris Masters off the gas, but I think out of WWE he might have gassed more. I don't know. I don't know what.
I don't know.
So this is of course kind of an older, lesser Chris Masters. Bully Ray, I think, is the best version of Bubba Ray, especially as a singles competitor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk and try to sway me one way or the other.
Well, I mean, you're right in that El Dandy is the most junior of these three guys. I mean, Bubba Ray is probably the best. If this were a one-on-one match, I might go with him right away. But with the Chris Adonis factor being there, I feel like, it might be a heel versus heel, ego versus ego match between him and Bully Ray. So maybe we have El Dandy getting the quick cover here, Leonard. That's what I see. What do you think? Quick cover by El Dandy.
I think that Bully Ray and Adonis just go at it. I think El Dandy just kind of lays back, and after somebody gets taken out, he swoops in for a quick cover or a quick roll up on the other guy. I like giving the win to El Dandy. Who are you to dealt El Dandy? Not us.
That's true. And now he has a belt, which technically he could trade in against a Bruno shot. That's not an MSG main event.
Bruno's, that's like Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, Rhode Island. Yeah. That's a house show, right? Well,
that's a house show in Burlington, Vermont.
Burlington, Vermont. Yeah. Well,
try to name all these little WWF Northeast towns that they, would run maybe every 6 months.
So, our next match is tag team #1 contenders match. We have two random teams and we have managers. Now, the two teams are drawn by me, and that will be the Hollywood Blondes versus the Elite. So, the Elite is three guys. So, based on the fact that it's the Elite and not the Young Bucks, it would be Kenny Omega and somebody else. So, let's just say it's Kenny Omega and Nick Jackson of the Elite against the Hollywood Blondes. So,
okay, and I swear to God, this was at random. We did not know. We did not collude this. Okay, so the Hollywood Blondes get Jimmy Hart,
Okay.
and the Elite's got Jim Cornette.
That's amazing.
Two of the best, two of the best tag team managers that you can have. But the fact that Jim Cornette hates the Elite and would probably help the Hollywood Blondes to cheat.
So yeah, you're kind of answering the debate already. And let me just say, without the managers, to me, this would be an absolutely phenomenal fire of a match, in my opinion. Like, I would love to see these teams go against each other. I think it would be great. Jimmy Hart, if it was a manager that didn't care either way about the Elite, I would say this would be a tougher debate to go with. It would be tough to decide who would win this, in my opinion. But based on the fact that the Elite are managed by Jim Cornette, who can't stand either of them, I would have to go with the Hollywood Blondes here.
I would also say the Hollywood Blondes are the more natural tag team against Omega and Nick.
That's true. That's true.
You know, again, they work together, they know each other. But if it was the Jacksons and the Hollywood Blondes, and we know I'm no big fan of the Young Bucks, but I would think that would be a really, really good match.
That would be tougher too.
Yeah, I think. But given that it's Omega and Nick, and given the fact that their own manager is going to try to sabotage them,
that's kind of the thing, because the Elite just lost the trios titles.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did have title gold, but at the same time, we're talking Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette's taking that tennis racket to the back of Kenny Omega's head for sure, right?
Yeah, and even if it was flipped, even if they had Hart and the other team had Cornette, Cornette's going to go out of his way to murder the other side. I mean, Cornette is a deciding factor no matter who he is with here, I think. Yeah. So I think we have to go with the Hollywood Blondes. But hey, weren't the Hollywood Blondes our champs at one point? Isn't that who the Mega Powers Foundation take the belts off of?
That's what makes this interesting. They were a part of the title picture before, I believe. I'm pretty sure they were the champs at one point, or they maybe were in a match for the main event. I have to go back and look, but they're back at it again. Leonard. Hey, the cream always rises to the top.
Leonard. That's right, and the fact that we have consistent booking, I like it. We get Hollywood Blondes.
That's right. So our next match is going to be a stable triple threat match. What chaos this will be! And Leonard has gotten the stables drawn. Who are our three stables?
Okay, our three stables, and I don't know how you want to do. I limited it to four and four. Some of the stables had more people, some of the stables had less. So, okay. But to be honest, this should have been, if this was just the one stable versus the other stable, much better. But we have the Click, who I've noted as Diesel, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H.
Yeah.
Or Hunter Hearst Helmsley still at the period where the Click were together. Versus the Corporation. So we have Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, Big Boss Man, and The Rock. And then we have the Matt Hardy Empire, which was another name for the Matt Hardy family office. And I decided they will be represented by Matt Hardy, Butcher, Blade, and Angelico.
Yeah, they're not winning.
No, they're not winning. I like this better if it was just the Click versus the Corporation. But your thoughts?
I don't see how the Click can't win.
I know.
And that's almost unfair, right?
Yeah, and the next person down, because I thought about not including Shane since Vince was in there, would have been Ken Shamrock. But I don't know, like on the list of because they all kind of joined at one time. But even still, I don't see how you can't see the Click winning. And I didn't look up because weren't there other members of the Click? Wasn't Aldo Montoya, Portuguese Man of War?
He might have been. I don't know.
Who was just incredible, I think, was their buddy. Of course, 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Right. So who was joining Vince and Shane again?
It's Big Boss Man, The Rock.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it's because you have Vince and Shane. I don't see the Click. There's too much talent on that side. And I would love to see a Vince or a Shane versus Matt Hardy match. I think that would be fun to see. But
Yes, like crazy Matt Hardy. I think deleted Matt Hardy. I think that would be a lot of fun, especially him and Shane just like trying to murder each other. That'd be great.
so yeah, I see the Click winning.
Yeah, I go Click as well. Even if you would mix up, like there's other people who you could throw in there, but like the corporation got Gerald Briscoe, Pat Patterson, Sergeant Slaughter. Like the corporation sucked. It had a lot of suck in it.
Yeah, it did.
So, and the Matt Hardy, Isaiah Kennedy's a member, and just some other names I don't really know because I don't really do AEW. So I kind of went with the names there that I knew. But the Bunny is also in there. I think the Bunny versus Kevin Nash is a main event.
A female versus Kevin Nash. That would be
Yeah,
interesting to see. Yeah.
yes, definitely.
All right.
So yeah, the Click gets that, no problem.
All right. So our second to last match is a women's fatal four-way #1 contender match. And in this case, Leonard will draw two names and I will draw two names. My two names are Stephanie McMahon and the TNA version of Gail Kim.
You know what would be funny if we had the same names?
We've talked about that before. Yeah.
But we don't. I've got Bianca Belair and Naomi.
Interesting. So I think that the fun match of this foursome is Bianca Belair and Gail Kim.
Yeah.
That would be a fun match to see. Based just on athleticism, I would have to say Bianca Belair, just based on her status right now. She's been champ for a while, and she has power and speed, and she kind of has it all. If we're inserting politics into it, Stephanie McMahon will win this all day. But I'm kind of leaning towards Bianca Belair. Leonard, what do you think?
Well, Stephanie is not married to either of us who run the Nitty Gritty Wrestling Federation. So, or we're not married to her, I guess, however you want to put it. So, I don't think she has a lot of clout with us. I like Gail Kim a lot, and believe it or not, I do think she's underrated. I think because she bounced around a lot, I think maybe it might be a reason why people don't really give her as much kudos as she deserves. But yeah, I agree with you on Bianca Belair. Gail Kim is from the past generation, and even though she's great, this current generation of women, I just think, are more all around better workers than women have come before. Though there's a few different, some who are and some who aren't. But especially someone with Belair, you mentioned her athleticism, I think her speed, her strength, her overall talent. And I think she's continuing to even improve even now. I think the only thing I don't like about Bianca Belair is the long hair braid. Because if I was, say, managing Gail Kim, I would like you rip her hair out of her friggin' head.
Right.
Like you just whip her around by the braid is exactly what I would do. I find the braid stupid.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really do like Bianca, and I would go with her. But I think this does come down to her and Gail Kim. In the finals, what Naomi and Stephanie are knocked out outside or whatever you will on that. But yeah, I will go with Bianca. But I think her and Gail Kim is the match you want.
Yep, I agree. So our last match of the night, well, unless we do a dark match, it will be the men's six-pack challenge, and it will be a #1 contenders match as well. I have drawn 3 names, and Leonard has drawn 3 names, and my names are actually interesting considering who our champion is.
Okay, my names are random and weird.
Okay, so the names I have are Dick Murdoch, Vern Gagne, and Sergeant Slaughter, the face version of Sergeant Slaughter.
Wait, so like G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
All right, I got 911, Ole Anderson.
Okay.
And Tim Storm.
Tim Storm. Wow, it doesn't get more random than that.
Yeah.
I personally would like to see an Ole Dick Murdoch match.
Mm-hmm. It's weird because we've got basically like 4 very old school dudes. Tim Storm, who wrestles very old school.
He does.
And then like 911, who was just this ECW lackey that just choke slammed people.
Right. Well, So I guess it just depends. I mean, you have six guys, so there's not a lot of rules. I mean, if there were rules inserted here, I would say Vern Gagne is clearly like a
Hmm.
top guy in the match. But
It was Vern, Dick Murdoch, and who was your third dude?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Face Slaughter, right? You know what? You know what? I would like to see Tim Storm and Sergeant Slaughter. I
That's
think that's underrated. I think that's an underrated match.
we got to save some of these for our next show.
Yeah, I think I want Tim Storm and Sergeant Slaughter like in a gimmick match.
So then we'll have Ole and Dick Murdoch with a gimmick attached maybe next time as well.
Okay.
So then that comes down to 911 against Vern Gagne.
Well, 911. I mean, again, he could just choke slam.
Poor Vern. We get
Poor
choke
Vern.
slammed
He's
off
just
of a
gonna,
balcony or something.
yes, he's gonna choke slam Vern off like the roof.
The visual of this is funny. But you know what? Maybe before 911 gets a hold of him, maybe Vern does like a takedown. You
Yeah.
know,
From everything I know, and I don't know a whole lot, 911 was just a big dude who wasn't very good in the ring, and
right.
who outside of just choke slamming people didn't have anything. So the fact that Vern is a legitimate old school stretcher, I think he could definitely figure out how to get this guy off his feet, tie him in a pretzel. He's going to have him picking his own nose and his head up his butt. and I gotta give it to Vern. And again, so that sets up Vern versus Bruno.
That's a main event anywhere in the country, right there.
Right there. Yeah. So that's so I like that. And I do next time around, I want Ole and Dick Murdoch, and I want Sergeant Slaughter and Tim Storm. And believe it or not, if it wasn't Vern, I might make a good argument for Tim Storm. I think Tim is very underrated because he was, NWA bottom of the barrel when it was as down as it could possibly be. He was the guy there. But I've watched his stuff with Nick Aldis. I've watched other stuff that he's done, and I think he is good. I think he's a good old fashioned style power wrestler. If Tim Storm had existed like in Jim Crockett in the 80s, oh, he would have been, on a Magnum TA, I think, type level. I think they would have pushed him as a really big cowboy type baby face.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I like him as well. It just I guess he never was able to kind of fit into one era as well as we would have liked him to.
Yeah, he didn't fit into the current era, and he never really caught on anywhere aside from being the NWA champion. And I think he got that because he was there.
Right.
That was really at the bottom. But I love everything he did. Him and Nick Aldis had some, I think, really underrated matches in the past several years. But anyway, I look forward to him and Slaughter next time around. So I like the fact that we always continue to kind of build as we do this, that we figure out, okay, what's the next level of things. So I have my windows closed out so it wouldn't lag my feed here. So if you want to do a dark match, feel free to pull something out. But
all right, well,
I don't have anything.
I have picked a match here. It would be the $1 Million Corporation version of Nikolai Volkov. Okay. So the Nikolai Volkov that wore that goofy $1 Million Man outfit
with the cent signs on it, and Nikolai was like 107 at that point.
Right, against the rookie heel version of Kurt Angle.
Rookie heel version of Kurt Angle every day, all day, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, Nikolai Volkov at that point was ready to retire. Like, he was done.
Yeah, he was past ready to retire. I think they were just being nice and giving him a check because he, had been there for so long and was such a loyal guy. And that's one thing, you say what you want about Vince. He was always very loyal to the stalwarts and people who were loyal to his dad and things like that. There were people who, like Lord Alfred Hayes, had a job way past the point he should have had a job. So, I think he was loyal to people. But yeah, I mean that's a good that's like an opener dark match. That's something just since it's rookie Kurt, just to give Kurt something to do so we could take a look at him,
I'd love to see his promo on aged Nikolai Volkov in $1 Million.
Yeah, set sign and the toupee. Wasn't he wearing the toupee at this point too?
Oh yeah, he might have been. You're right. I forgot about that.
I think he was wearing a toupee and the scent sign suit. Yeah. That would be fantastic. So yeah, that's just good for the promo work. But yeah, this is, I think, would be a match where if we wanted to take a look at Kurt, this is what we would do: put him against a veteran and just let him kick his butt for 5 minutes and see what he looks like.
Yeah, I agree. And although I don't know that Nikolai Volkov would be the person you'd want to test out a rookie with, but hey, you never know, right?
Yeah,
They used Owen Hart on Kurt Angle before he actually debuted.
right. We talked about that. Yeah, I mean, Nikolai's a veteran.
I can see them asking him to do this, and him grumpily coming to the back, saying something to the effect of, like, that kid in his Russian accent, which I'm not going to imitate. Like, that kid's too quick. He does too much in the ring. He needs to
It's
settle down.
like I don't understand all the stuff that he does. That slam, that over the top slam. I don't know. That's too newfangled. I don't get that. But if you think about it, it's even though it's heel Kurt Angle, it's Olympic hero, All American Kurt Angle versus the Russian. But that's interesting because you have bad guy American dude versus, well, he was similar sympathetic because I don't think Nikolai wanted to be in the corporation, but he needed the money.
Right. Yeah. It was, he was in heel territory, but people were kind of, I don't know, low key.
Yeah, because he had turned face at one point and was tagging with Jim Duggan.
Right.
After the fall of the Soviet Union. So.
Right. Well, maybe it's a good payday for Nikolai. Who knows? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is our show this week. Our spring stomp switcheroo, and who knows when our next Fever Dreams will be. Let us know what you think of the matches we assembled. If you agree or disagree, please let us know. And specifically about Ole and Dick Murdoch and Tim Storm and Sergeant Slaughter. We got to come up with all military gimmicks for that one. It has to be.
Well, boot camp match was the first thing I thought of. So
that's what I thought of too. We've got to think of other military gimmick matches.
Yeah, or things that we can military up.
Landmine match.
Let's have a strap match. Be a bootstrap match.
A bootstrap match. Waterboarded match.
Something on a pole. A boot on combat boot on a pole.
Yeah. Keys to a tank on a pole. I don't know.
Major guns on a pole.
That's a match that would sell tickets for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you think. Check out our other videos: stupid questions, random match reviews, segment surgery. We are available wherever you can listen to podcasts as well. We thank all of you for checking out our show. Subscribe to our content, and we appreciate you all. For Leonard, my name is Chad. We will see you next week, and Alexa will see you out.